Tired.
Here we go.
Come on to learn and grow. Welcome to the Village Talk Show. Come on to learn and grow. Welcome to the Village Talk Show. We discuss what people need to know, empowering them to learn and grow. We discuss what people need to know, empowering them to learn and grow. Give praises to Jehovah, from whom all blessings, blessing and knowledge will flow. Blessing and knowledge will flow. The Village Talk Show, dedicating to empowering the community to live a healthy, safe, and financially capable life, helping each one of us in realizing our dream at any age, any point, starting from today, day. Success. Come on to learn and grow. Welcome to the Village Talk Show. Come on to learn and grow. Welcome to the Village Talk Show. We discuss what people need to know, empowering them to learn and grow. We discuss what people need to know, empowering them to learn and grow. Success is not spoken, it is done. Success is done. Come on now. The Village Talk Show. Talk Show. The Village Talk Show.
Hey, good evening, everyone. Good evening. Welcome to the Village Radio Talk Show. I am Roderick Daly, your host, alongside Dr. John L. Sampson, our co-host, and our co-host is Dr. John Bryant. Will be here shortly just to have some chit-chat with you guys. We're not in studio today, so we're on the road, so please do text in a lot of your comments and join us and have some, really good time with us. I am really excited that we are dedicated to empowering the community to live a healthy, safe, and financially capable life through education, helping each one of us in realizing our dreams at any age, at any point, starting from today, where success is not just spoken, it is done. What are you doing to be successful? Hey, John, what's going on?
What's up, Mr. Daly? Where's our other co-host, Dr. Bryant? Dr. Bryant, where you at? APB for Dr. Bryant.
She's AWOL. All right, AWOL.
AWOL. That's not good, Dr. Bryant. What about our good friend, to Sophie and Andre, our producers? Just want to give them a shout out too. You know that.
Absolutely.
So how you doing, Mr. Daly? What's going on? What's going on in the world, Mr. Daly?
So before I even get started with that, today happened to be my wife's anniversary. She's married. She's married to me now for 16 years.
Tell her. I don't know what to tell her.
Yeah, tell her.
I don't know what to
tell her.
I don't know what to tell her.
Yeah, tell her.
God bless, Miss Daly.
Yeah.
God bless.
Yeah.
God bless. Don't let no man stress you.
All right. I was just looking at a message here.
Cat got your tongue, boss.
Yeah. Nobody. I think that's why women behave the way they do.
Oh shit! Don't start that male chauvinistic, misogynistic shit, Daly. Please.
No. I was just gonna say, no. Nobody goes, God bless the dude for putting up with that woman. It's always God bless the woman for putting up with that dude.
I'm just trying to be courteous.
I'm not saying you. Everybody says that crap.
Yeah, I know.
I have a friend that asked me, "How do you get such a beautiful woman?" Like, what the hell? Tree growing in my face?
Oh Lord!
I'm just like, there's a woman for every man and there's a man for every woman. Unless somebody just sent me something on the Amazon that said there's 7 men to 3,000 women, and the men don't have to do nothing. But they are worn out. Right?
Yeah, Mr. Daly.
They are worn out. So I'm happy with the one. I don't need that. What does that mean?
And I know she's happy with you too.
So anyway, people, please
listeners, you see, he changed the subject. You know that, right, listeners? He changed the subject quick.
No, I'm not changing the subject. I don't want to tarry on the subject. I'm just saying, kudos to all of our listeners out there and all our villagers, as John like to call them, our villagers. Hopefully enjoying. Please don't fail to hit the subscribe button. Subscribe button to the channel. So, there are a lot of things going on in the world today, Dr. Sampson. A lot of things going on. I don't even know where to start.
Tell me about it. Tell me about what's going on. Start up. Where are we starting today?
I was wondering. There are a lot of things going on. Our guest today who will be on in a little bit. So maybe we're going to leave the politics alone for a minute, and we'll talk about some other things that's happening.
One thing that's happening. You know what? I think our producers Andre raised something he raised the issue to us, and I guess I want to bring it to everybody. And I think it's that whole, I think there's a law that passed, meaning that if there are any sort of Cash App, Venmo transactions over $600, it has to be reported to the IRS. If I'm correct, yeah. Andre, what are you talking about? Andre, can you give us a little background on that? Andre, you there? Go ahead, Mr. Daly. Give us some background on it.
So basically, I know this was sent out to Cash App users.
Hold on, here he goes. There he goes. Andre, give us a little breakdown on that.
So what I know is pretty much. You hear me?
Yeah, we hear you.
Hear me, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So if you do get money from Cash App in excess of $600, you have to report it as taxable income. Last year they were trying to put it in place, but got delayed, pushed for this year. But if you do end up getting it from Cash App or Venmo or PayPal, any of those apps that you use to kind of get money exchanged, you would have to report it as taxable income. So makes sense to have your bank account, because Zelle, you don't have to necessarily do that with Zelle, but at the same time, getting a bank account, some of these banks do charge you a fee to hold the checking account or for them to hold your money. So they make money from holding your money, right? Your money just sit there and kind of catch dust. So I mean, to me, it seems like it's another way of hurting the little guy, the person who's trying to make ends meet.
We call that regressive.
Yeah. So that's essentially it. So just be mindful, if you do get excess in 600, you're gonna have to report that.
But how do you report it, Andre, if somebody owes you $600? Suppose you purchase something for them and they're just returning the money that they owe you. So I got to count that as income? I got to see, that's the tricky part.
Yeah, that's definitely a tricky part. So I'd have to look more into that part itself and get back. But there's also there's supposed to be a form that you report. I don't remember what the form name, but that part I'm not sure how that would work itself. I think you can definitely go around that one. But yeah.
So what do you think? You go around that one, Andre? You telling us not to?
No,
notify?
not go around. That's what I'm saying.
Okay,
I'm gonna look more into it so that way I can get back to you on an answer there. But it shouldn't be. I don't think it should be an issue if the person owes you in a sense. You should be able to, I guess, for them to kind of like even do some reporting, something like that.
When does this law take effect, Andre?
It's going to be in place for next year, so definitely want to be mindful on that. They were going to try and get it going for this year.
So Daily, pay me all my money you owe me, man, now, so you don't have to cash out that sucker later, man.
I was thinking the same thing, John. It's you're gonna have to do a 1099 on your taxes. If you have independent taxes, independent earning, so you have to do a 1099.
I know, man.
I want to pick your brains, John, about a few things, right? Let's talk about. I'm concerned about. I want to ask some criminal questions.
I'll try to give you a criminal answer.
Yeah, give me a criminal mindset. So, one of the things is when how long ago were you? Did you become a lawyer? How long ago?
1991. November.
What's the difference when you were a lawyer in 1991 and 2001?
Laws change.
How
That's
about
why you have that's why you have continuing legal education classes.
Okay, so like how often do you have to take legal courses?
I think every year you have continuing legal education courses that you take.
Do you think that your interpretation of the law in 1991, the same laws as you understood them later, did you think that you changed or you understood it better or something like that?
I guess more of the application. The more application you have of the law is a better understanding of it. So your understanding in 1991 could be different from your understanding in 2001 based upon the application of the law. The practice, it changes.
Yeah, I feel I asked that question because I have somebody who I know a couple people, 3 people, to be exact, who just became lawyers.
Oh, congrats.
And they're kicking my ass, man.
What do you mean by the kicking your ass?
Because everything is like, oh, this is illegal. I'm like, okay, I feel like just want to say you just became a lawyer. Cut the shit out, cut it out.
Well, I mean, they're giving you error on the side. It all depends what you're talking about, Mr. Daly.
Well,
so,
yeah, I just like
on the side of caution.
Like, I don't know. I think sometimes like, oh, you can't move that way because I'm like, the law is kind of like, it's not.
The law is not clear cut.
Right.
The law, some laws are clear cut, and some aren't.
Yeah, right. And so I'm trying to say like everything is like legalese. I'm like, no, that's not how things work. Like that's not. That's why there are different levels of murders, right? So you can't just say because that's murder 1. No, that's not murder 1 necessarily, right? Or it's not murder 3 or manslaughter, right? It could be murder 2, right?
Correct.
Or whatever the case is. I feel like sometimes I'm having this conversation. I feel like I was explaining to my wife that sometimes new lawyers are like new parents, first-time parents, right?
Of course, that's always the case.
Yeah, they're like first-time parents. Like, oh, the baby can't go a minute without eating. Hell yeah, the baby can go a minute without eating. The baby can't even go a day without showering. Oh, we got baby. No, you don't. Just wipe the friggin' baby up and wipe the baby down. The baby doesn't have to bathe every day, things like that. Every baby don't sleep.
Roger, just different strokes for different folks.
Yeah, but it's annoying when you're sitting in meetings with people who think they know everything about the law.
So sometimes, Roger, you have to listen. You have to listen. But at the same time, you can offer some sort of factual.
But
you can offer some.
If they're not willing to listen, you don't feel like talking.
Yeah, but that's one thing about a lawyer. A lawyer needs to always be open-minded and listen. You need to be open-minded. You can't be closed-minded.
Not some of these lawyers I know, boy. I'm telling you. The other thing is, so I want to ask you some criminal questions, right? That's what I was getting back to you about. Tell me the different types of defense attorney, what's good and what's bad about them. Pick your brain today.
What's good about defense attorneys? What's not good about them?
What are different types? You have the public defender. You have the
you got public defender. You got 18B. You got private. I mean, pretty much. Yeah, that's it. You got in-house. All
right. So tell the audience some things like, when should you get a private? When should you stick with a public? Or the other?
You know what? This is. Everybody thinks that just because you have a public defender attorney that they're not going to fight hard for you. They're not going to put in the time to see if you can get exonerated. I think that's a stigma. That's a bad stigma that people place upon it, because I know a lot of public interest attorneys, those who do 18B work and legal aid. They really put their heart and soul into it, and that's all you want. You want an attorney that, one, pays attention to you, two, calls you back, and three, who's open-minded to listen, and also creative. Sometimes you got to be really creative.
Yeah, I asked that question because I know people who are scared and economically can't afford. Okay, so when do you determine that you should change your attorney? What are some eye openers in your mind to say when you
missing deadlines, not getting back to you, not responsive to you, things like that. You ask for certain things that you ask for. What's my theory of the case? How are you going to lay it out? They can't articulate it. They can't put those things out. Then it may not be a good fit for you. That's all I can say.
Got you. The person is guilty, right? And
who says that they're guilty? How do I know that they're guilty?
Well, the person's guilty. Like you're literally
hypothetical. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's all hypothetical. The person's guilty,
right?
And you recognize, or at what point in court, even if you don't know the person, but you feel like the person is going to be found guilty, and a plea deal is offered. At what point do you think you should take a plea deal? At the beginning, or what do you think?
You take a plea deal as the case develops, because sometimes people think the case, everybody buys into what the allegations may be in the complaint. Everybody might listen to the news reports and they might say, "Oh my God, this is insurmountable. I don't know how he's going to get over it." Sometimes you have to just sit back and let the process operate. During the operation of the process, witnesses lose their memory, documents are lost, additional documents are found. So you have to let it play out for a while.
You're telling us, I'm sorry, going back to the question about the defenders. Who normally does more plea deals, the public defender or the what's the other lawyer you said, the B18?
You got the 18B and then you got private lawyers. You know what? You make the best deal possible for your client. So every case is different. Every case is different, my friend.
Is it easy to look into get a lawyer disqualified?
You got to have some sort of basis. The judge is not going to arbitrarily let you just change counsels like that. You have to have some basis for changing the counsel.
All right. And the cost of an attorney.
Costs vary.
A person up for murder one.
Murder one. If I'm up, if I know, if I'm representing a client who's up for murder one,
Well,
murder
okay.
one.
Let's not do murder one. Let's do years. Right? Because I guess you could do 30 years for it. Doesn't have to be murder one. You could do 30 years, right? So somebody who's up on a charge for 25 to life.
Okay, that's what the statute may call for, but not necessarily going to get it. But go ahead.
So what's the cost in a case like that?
Yeah, I mean, if you're facing substantial amount, it all depends upon the crime, because it could be murder, it could be robbery, it could be an assault, it could be a white collar crime. There's so many different things. It could be like, take for example, it could be stock fraud case or something like that. But it could be, based upon the statute, you're looking at a long period of time. So it varies. It varies, my friend.
So, but I'm saying, but that's not giving me a number, John. The audience wants to know what numbers to look for. That's why.
What numbers to look for when you're paying counsel?
Financial.
If you're doing, murder, felony cases, usually attorneys want $75,000 retainer, depending upon what kind of case it is. If it's a very complicated, complex case, attorneys may want 25. If it's a homicide case, your bill could go up as high as to $100,000 and more, depending upon the case, depending upon the stakes, also the stakes.
What do you mean by the stakes?
Yes, is here, by the way.
The penalties that you may be subject to. And then some judges can run your sentence either concurrently or consecutively. Meaning that if you have 3 counts and you get guilty of 3 counts and each count runs 5 to 15, the judge can basically say, I'm going to run each count consecutive, meaning I got to do 5 to 15 for one. Then after I do that, I got to do another 5 to 15. Then I got, so basically, you'd be doing 15 years.
The judge says you're going to do 5 to 15. What the hell does that mean?
That's the minimum is 5, the max is 15. But after 3.5 years, you might be eligible for parole. You go before the parole board, so you might get out before the 5-year period.
So about 5 to 15. Who determines?
The court determines how much time they're going to give you based upon what the statute calls for. Sometimes they can deviate from the statute.
All right, so not to interrupt, the guest is here, and I just wanted to make a clarification. So, John, regarding the tax taxable income, if it's not for goods and services, you do not report it. I just posted a link, audience, in the chat in the comment section, so you can go to the IRS website and can read up about it.
So if it's for goods or services, you don't have to report it.
No. Goods or services. If you provide goods and services, right, or services you provide, or property you rent through any of the what do you call it? Payments app or online marketplace, you have to do the report.
You have to report.
Yeah, $600 in excess. Under the 1099-K form. It's being put in place for this tax year itself. So when January comes around and you file the taxes, you have to do that form itself. They delayed it from last year because people needed time to kind of get familiarized with it. So it's important to just read up on it on the IRS website. But they come in strong. All right. So we're gonna go to commercial and then I will bring the guests on. All right.
Yes.
Footprints Cafes now offers Caribbean flatbreads, available in 11 mouthwatering flavors, including favorites like jerk chicken, curry chicken, honey garlic chicken or shrimp, ackee and saltfish, garlic cheese, and more. our flatbreads are satisfying and can be enjoyed by the entire family. So make it a flatbread night at Footprints and enjoy the fusion of flavors. These flatbreads are so good, you might just have to fight for that last piece. Good thing there's plenty more where that came from. Get yours today from any of our Footprints locations. Want to enjoy your flatbread at home? Then order on Uber Eats and get it delivered right to your door. We'll see you there.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Just learned about the Single Parent University has open admissions where the course curriculum is personal development, mindful parenting, support seminar, financial management, nutrition. Call 646-779-6767 or text SBU to 71441. Free transportation provided, free child care provided. Omar, flip your camera, push your monitor down towards the ground a little bit. The other way.
Oh, okay. So you
Right
can see.
Oh, Mr. Boucher.
Down.
How you doing, my brother?
Down.
Oh man, I can't see my man no more. Big time,
I'm around.
big time consultant. You know, he always says he's in retirement, Roger. He's never in retirement. He's always looking for the next conquer.
Yeah, you know, I gotta keep a little bit busy, although I'm retired.
Retired from what, Omar? Retired.
Well, actually,
Retired to taking people out of office.
You don't want to necessarily have to get up every morning to get to work at 9 o'clock and leave at 5 or 6 o'clock. You know, when you reach a certain age, you need to, you know, chill out a little bit. But at the same time, you got to still keep yourself busy. So in the intervening times, I just take on some political projects.
But before we start, Mr. Boucher, please introduce yourself to the people, my people, our people at the Village Talk Show.
And introduce the person in the back that's making you dinner. Because I want you to.
Oh, you mean Professor Reed? That's the wife. So let me say, first of all, greetings to everyone, included all my friends out there, as well as one of my favorites, still is my favorite brother, the Honorable John Sampson. And of course, Rudy, a partner in our goal for the Caribbean community. So let me introduce myself. My name is Omar Boucher. I used to work in the political field, both in the Senate as well as the Assembly, as well as for unions. I'm a political consultant and semi-retired. I've been in this game for over 60 years. I did campaign when I was small in Jamaica, did campaigns in England, and I've been working for over 30 years in America on campaigns.
Tell us about some of the successful campaigns that you've worked on.
Wow. Going back, let's say, UNA was the first really official, successful candidate that we took from scratch to get elected. Then we had Nick Perry. I have put in the mayor of Mount Vernon. I have worked in, I've run the state, coordinated campaign field direction for the state of Connecticut. I work in 9 states in politics. I've done some international campaign. I can't say which countries they are, but I've done that. And I have put, lately, I've just put in Councilwoman Mercedes Narcisse, and also Monique Chandler Waterman as assembly person. And I've done union campaigns. I've been very successful in running union campaigns as well to get presidents into office. And those are just some of that. And I've done consulting. You know, some folks just pay me for telling us what is the lay of the land and whether their chances of winning. And I give it to them straight. So it's not a question of the money. I like to win. And so, you know, while the money is good, you know, you can't sell a loss. So I'd rather take a small and have a winner that you can sell. So,
well, Rod, he's being modest. Sometimes you hire.
I left out. Oh my heavens! And I left out my favorite candidate, Senator John Sampson, young, 21. Was it 21, John?
31.
31.
Did
Just
you work
out to law school and took him to the Senate the first try.
Did you help on Kevin Parker's campaign too for Senate?
Actually, which one? The first one?
First one, yeah.
Kevin beat me by 1,500 votes.
Oh, so who was your candidate?
You did not understand what I just said?
Kevin beat Omar by 1,500 votes.
For the Senate seat.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And you okay.
I couldn't run a campaign because I know how to run campaigns, but you can't be a candidate and run run the same campaign. It doesn't work.
That was one of my downfalls too when I ran in 2009. That I was running the campaign as well as the candidate, and you can't do both.
You can't do both, and and I learned that because now I'm a better consultant for that and manager for the fact I'm able to see that, you know, the candidate need downtime. The candidate shouldn't really interfere in stuff because he does not know the entire lay of the land, those kind of stuff. So, you know, you learn by that. As a matter of fact, I think it was a good thing I lost.
Yeah. I'm not going to say it's a good thing I lost. But, the good news is the person that beat me, actually that knocked me off the ballot, is doing some great things for the city of New York, and so I'm not upset.
No, there's good things to a loss. You know, it's not a nice thing, but I'm saying
it doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel good.
I didn't. You know, it didn't stop me from going on to do better than I did before I actually ran.
You know, and I've known you. I think you also worked very deeply on Yvette Clarke's campaign as well.
Oh yes. See, I did so many of them. You know, collect signatures for Obama. Did Bill Clinton? I was one of the first to bring him into Flatbush area.
Don't forget about Obama. What you did for Obama.
Yeah, and I even controlled the mic for Bill Clinton for his interview over in the settlement in the East Village. So, you know, I've been around and I don't like to blow too much horn. You know, just get the work done. What I'm most proud of is that majority of the folks who have got into office has done well with the community, and that is worth its weight in gold.
Yeah, that's excellent. You know, I'm asking you all these questions, and John is making all the statements because I want to let the audience know that you are beyond qualified for some of the things we're going to talk about today, in terms of political strategy and some of the things. So I'm going to start.
One thing I want to jump in, Omar. What do you think about that play for Kevin, the former Speaker of the House of Representatives? Do you think he overplayed his hands by just agreeing to all these ridiculous stipulations that he can never get out?
Well, let me tell you something. If you make a deal with the devil, he's coming for his ounce of flesh and blood. And that's what happened in McCarthy's world, because he was so eager. It was his dream to become speaker, and he would sell pardon the expression, let me take that back, but he would do anything to get elected as speaker, even if it was for one day. Okay, he can now boast and say, I was speaker. So he was prepared to give away the house, which he did, because no sane person would have allowed one person to overturn the will of all the other folks in the Congress. Makes no sense whatsoever, but that's his desire. And lots of folks have sold themselves to the devil in order to get moment's pleasure.
I do you think Matt Gaetz, who has no plan, but don't want the person that's currently in office to stay in office, right? That was his political strategy, right? I need to remove you, and he had 7 other people who joined him. That's why he lost. My biggest question to you is, do you think that the Democrats should have bailed him out? Why or why not?
Well, I don't think they should have bailed him out, and here's the reason. Number one, he showed he welched on a deal that he had with the White House and other Democrats. He also allowed them to investigate Biden with no facts whatsoever. So they're on just a fishing trip. And as such, it makes no sense that you should bail someone like this out to go and do even worse. Okay? If he wanted to cut a deal, he could have approached Hakeem and Pelosi and the leadership that's there and say, listen, I'm going to behave myself. I'm going to put this in writing, and this is what I'll do. But he was not prepared for it. He was hoping that they would see that maybe it's a worse person they're going to get if he was taken out, and they were going to do it. And if they save him, he didn't hold them anything because he didn't ask. So why should you save someone like that? And now, as you rightly says, they have no plans for the future. They're just about chaos. And I don't think, that, as a matter of fact, I'm going to be very serious. I think they're a bunch of devil worshippers, because the chaos they're trying to do is to bring the country down. They got no plans, as the senator says. They got no ideas of what moving forward is all about. They're enemy of progress. And as far as I'm concerned, I don't even think I need to waste too much time on them, but the fact that if they get power, the chaos they can cause.
So Kevin McCarthy was right wing, but he was to the left of right. Matt Gaetz is to the right of right. Right? And one of the reasons why I'm thinking about, even though he didn't make a commitment to any of the Democrats to bail him out, right? The reality is that whoever gets in, they have to concede more, and they're going to be more right.
But it all depends, Roger, because the next person who might be the prospective speaker, I would try to eliminate that one person rule, because at any point in time you could be taken out. So I wouldn't subject myself.
No, I wasn't really. Yeah, I agree with that. I'm just talking about the person who might get elected, not even the procedural component and the reason to remove them, right? It's more so like the fear that the person can bring the house to further right.
Listen to me. I just go say this straight. Whoever gets in there, they're not going to be holding to Democrats at all. they're going to do what those aides says, because those aides have them over a barrel and can extract any demand they make from whoever wants to be leader. And if you don't give them majority of what they want, they're not going to give you their vote. And so we're going to end up with a situation. I want to see what happens on Tuesday when they start the voting. So
I mean, the worst person, to me, one of the worst persons, you know, is Jim Jordan. That guy he's one of the worst people that could not be speaker, because it would be instant chaos. Instant chaos. But you know what? Let them wallow in their chaos. Sit back and watch the show.
I think John, it goes to what you're saying though as well, right? So, and Omar alluded to that, which is the one person, one vote can stop, can bring the speaker up on charges. How do you get rid of that with the 8?
Go ahead, John.
I think it's more procedure. You got to cut the deal, man. You got to cut a deal. You got to sit up there and you got to cut deals. What do you want?
Get there. We don't even know who are the people. They're going to whittle this down to something, maybe 4 people. Okay.
Well, right now you have,
and Trump is not included in that. I'm just not going to do that, because if they're going to give Trump that, it's a one-time vote and he's speaker. Okay. So let's work on it on the other way, where they're trying to find a speaker among themselves. That's going to be a process of elimination. And
I think Steve Scalise and, you know, everybody, you know, a lot of people, you know what? I think the whole point with McCarthy was people, a lot of them saw McCarthy was just a desperate person who just was concerned about the trappings of the office and being called speaker. He has no integrity. He lacked integrity. If a person lacks integrity, they will do what they need to do to be in that position. And that's why he promised this, he promised that, I'll do this. I would not have put myself in that position. Have some sort of integrity, which he does not have. He was just concerned about being the speaker. Yes, he was speaker, but yes, he was a speaker that was taken out. So if we're going to move forward in this direction, sometimes you have to sit back and watch the circus. Let the circus play out. Let it play out. There's an
old saying, John. There's an old saying that when your enemy is fighting among yourself, take a back seat. Okay, do not get yourself involved in it. So the Democrats should allow them to fight it out, because they only have one side of the house. I know they can create chaos, but they can't get nothing passed. They can do whatever they like. They can't get nothing passed unless there's some kind of compromise. Otherwise, this country is going to be stuck in limbo. So they're not a party for governing at this present time. So I don't, one hand can't clap. You need 2, and the Republicans show no inclination whatsoever of working across the aisle. And we don't need to go over there as if we're begging them to do it. We want to do what is necessary, Democrats, for the American people. But at the same time, why should we empower these lunatics to run the country into the ground?
Yeah, and just to digress for a second, Omar, what I don't understand is that how Donald Trump in quite a few polls now could actually be in the leading Biden. And another thing, I think that our border policies are out of control. And I think we have to come to the realization that, Biden needs to come to the realization, and I think people would accept it. You know what? I have to change fast, because you know what? My policies aren't working, and I have to change fast. I think people respect a leader who can say, you know what? I got something wrong, and I'm willing to do what I need to do to correct it. So I'm just throwing, what is this whole presidential and these policies, the economic policies? He says, Bidenomics, the country's doing well. I don't, Omar. This gas is almost $9 for regular in California. Gas here, super. If you're looking almost five, a little over five, almost $5, a little over regular, creeping up to $4. So I mean, everyday expenses. You go to the supermarket, where I used to get for $100, I can't get no more.
Well, let me say this. The polls, number one, I think is very flawed. It has no basis with Biden versus Trump. So I just discard that totally. No Democrat should lose any sleep on that at all. Secondly, Trump is ahead because the mega is a base vote. And they don't see any of the lot that's running being near him. So he's going to come in with at least 50% of the votes. Okay? And as long as those fools are all splitting up the difference, okay? It's like ranked choice voting.
Right.
Okay? So he's ahead. They're trying to catch up. And he's picking up from, like, for example, if one of those drop out, he's liable to pick up some votes from that candidate supporters, which adds to his already that's not moving. The mega people are not going to move from Trump. They're going to go down with him fighting. Okay? So that's what the situation is. But I think in regards to the border, it's very complex. And I see he's trying to make deals to get people out, because you just can't the country cannot take all that amount of people and find shelter and find work for them. It's just impossible at that rate. So there needs to be a little time out, in terms of that. Somehow he has to come to some, as reasonableness to say, listen, we can't take it. I'm going to have to stop people totally from coming across the border. Let's sort out who is here, and then we can start all over again. I mean, you have to take some drastic decision when, when you're a leader.
But Omar, if he is considered, if he's considered to be the leading, Joe Biden we're talking about, right? Yeah. If the Democrats are and I just want to make sure I point out to a lot of people that people don't understand, but the Democrats are responsible for more deportation than the Republican. Even though Republicans make up more noise about it, Democrats are, right? That's a numerical fact. So we're not going to debate that fact. It's a numerical fact that under Barack
Obama do more than a whole lot of them presidents combined. He didn't even get a credit for one. So what you say is correct. And he's trying his best, but the Democrat should not get weak knee here on what's happening.
But the border
go ahead.
But the border control component and the migrants, and so my issue with the migrants, and I'm hoping to get our guest next week. Hopefully we're able to get the schedule in to talk about the migrants, right? I feel very strongly that the migrants should not be given all of these rights when we have people living in the United States for 20, 30, 40 years without documentation and have to go through leaps and bounds to get it, while this administration is doing it and giving the migrants all of these. And some of these migrants came here in fictitious manner, just like an undocumented. So, but although they got the paperwork through to make them legal, they're still under some pretense of some falsehood. So I'm just concerned about that.
Well, we have to curtail some of it for a while. It's as simple as that. The country, you know, and I'm an immigrant, so but the country cannot, and I came the legal way, but I know that doesn't say it's worse for you know, it's bad if somebody came and got through. That's okay. But at this present time here, as you rightly says and pointed out, there's a lot of wants in the community right now with people who have been here for years upon years and still don't have working papers. You know, first of all, some of my union folks are living paycheck to paycheck. They can't even afford their rent. So shelter is a necessity that New Yorkers need, a lot of New Yorkers need. And so new immigrants with the flood that's coming in is just going to make it a bit more difficult for us to help alleviate the problem.
So don't you think that this is going to affect Biden?
No, in the end, it's going to be a stark choice between, you know, the devilish programs that Trump would instigate on this country, and the good and what Biden would do. And I'm going up by a person's record. I'm going by what persons have done. And when you look at what Biden has accomplished compared to Trump, you know, there is no comparison. So if it comes down to it, I think it's a no contest. Biden will beat him. And I'm not too worried about these so-called polls that they do. You know, these are way out polls. I forget, outliers they call them. That makes no sense whatsoever. That you know, somebody who is under 91 indictment and all manner of things from here to there, and he's running. That means something is wrong with the population. Something is wrong with the people they're polling, that those things probably was never mentioned. And that's just my take on it.
All right, we're going to run a commercial and then we get back.
Call Howard Housing Solution today for all your real estate needs. Sellers, we can get top dollar for your home, and our vast network of professionals can facilitate your move and help you purchase your dream home in another state. Buyers, we have a pulse on the market and can get you in a home quickly. Property owners, we can manage your property efficiently and allow you peace of mind. So why wait? Call Howard Housing Solutions today at 646-825-5560 for your sale, purchase, or property management needs. Conveniently located in East New York, Brooklyn. You can come to us at 577 New Lots Avenue, Brooklyn, New York, or we can visit in the comfort of your home. Call Howard's Housing Solutions today at 646-825-5560. Howard Housing Solutions. Real estate simplified.
Footprints Cafes now offers Caribbean flatbreads, available in 11 mouth-watering flavors, including favorites like jerk chicken, curry chicken, honey garlic chicken or shrimp, ackee and saltfish, garlic cheese, and more. Our flatbreads are satisfying and can be enjoyed by the entire family. So make it a flatbread night at Footprints and enjoy the fusion of flavors. These flatbreads are so good, you might just have to fight for that last piece. Good thing there's plenty more where that came from. Get yours today from any of our Footprints locations. Want to enjoy your flatbread at home? Then order on Uber Eats and get it delivered right to your door. We'll see you there.
Dr. Bryant, welcome.
Good evening.
Excited to see you. Dr. Bryant, our co-hostess, is joining us.
Hello, Mr. Omar.
How are you? Nice to see you.
Dr. Bryant, I went into a school today before I get to Omar Boucher's next comment. I walked into a school today and somebody said, make sure you say hello to your co-hostess, Dr. Brian. So I thought I'd deliver that message.
Oh, that's funny.
He-
Well, thank you.
He recognized me, and he, but he recognized you more apparently. You just, Omar. You just see like a grin, like this.
For sure. For sure.
when he mentioned her name, he was very excited. But anyway, going back to what we're talking about in terms of the election piece and what's going on with the migrants, and do you think that Congress will work out an amnesty piece? Somebody told me something about a lotto, like there's a lottery going on for visa lottery. I'm not aware of that. If there is, and please do let me know. But do you let's go back to the migrants. Do you think that there will be some level of amnesty for our undocumented persons in the United States?
Well, I don't think there will be with the Republicans in control of Congress.
Mm-hmm.
They just will not see it. They don't see it as beneficial to them. And that's their main reason. They don't see migrants as being beneficial. If these were all Europeans coming in, they would do it.
Mm.
But
that's my
there are a lot of Chinese and Chinese and Middle Eastern and Indians, Cubans, and some even some Dominicans, all right, who view who view themselves as white and as Republicans. Now, the religious
reality, it's some of them who thinks they're white. I mean,
I know
Dominicans who are blacker than me and tell me they're white.
Mm-hmm.
So
but
it's
those
a
are
mental
votes,
thing,
But those are votes for Republicans, right?
Yeah, but there's not many of them.
Yeah, but Cuban on a large scale vote Republican.
Yeah, but they're concentrated out mostly in Florida, which is a good thing, and they're not spread out like how we are.
Well, that's
so
true.
they can only affect Florida massively.
No, but the amnesty would affect them, right? That's why Salazar down there, the Republican, the first year Republican. Well, I think it's their second year now, second term now, from Miami, right? Who got elected under the Republican ticket. That would be very helpful to her. Why wouldn't she fight for that? I think that would be helpful for amnesty. Do you know anything about the visa lottery? Do you know anything about that?
No, I just know that they have increased the allotment that certain countries get, but I don't see I don't know about the lottery at all on that. I just know that some countries are allotted more numbers to be able to come into the United States. I'd have to do a little research on that, and I'll also check out the lottery to see, whether it's a valid saying or whether it's actual fact.
Good point, John. You have a question before I move on to my next?
I think, I think, Omar, my concern is with respect to the Democrats and the policies that truly are having an impact on the pocketbooks of people. And, people talk with their pocketbooks. And what I'm not seeing from the Democrats is a clear economic policy as to how can we deal with some of these issues. The border is one, and also the crime, the level of crime that is going on.
So he's talking.
Father Justice individual.
So
in Bed-Stuy,
Yeah.
You know, just being killed randomly like that by youth, man. 18, 19-year-old kid. I don't know whether he had mental health issues, whatever it
I'm
is, but
tired of people saying mental
we
health when it's
It's
we
not.
are.
not mental health.
No, it's not. I'm
Yeah,
tired of people using that as.
I'm just saying.
Mm.
Listen,
It's not an excuse, but you know that's.
well, first of all, you know,
Yeah, Miss Fox.
I love my black kids, but I'll have to tell you the truth that we have to do a re-education of these young black men and women. And the first thing is, if something is not producing, is poisonous, you can't keep feeding it to the kids. And that's what's happening. We're feeding the same thing, and we look at the results we're getting. And so somehow, you know, if you have, and I like to use this little say, if you have a river, but you have multiple tributaries feeding into it, and they are poisonous, or one or two of those tributaries are poisonous. If you can't stem the main river to stop the flow of toxics that's coming in, you have to go to the source, which is some of those tributaries. You know, maybe whether you say happens to be mental health or bad schooling or parents that are irresponsible or the company and the environment that they're living in. All of those factors are the poisonous tributaries that are feeding into the river, which is the greater community. We have to find a way of stemming that so that we have less of that coming in, and then we can have a better community. But if you still have those poisonous tributaries feeding into the larger community, there's no way we're going to ever solve the crime problem. There's no way we're ever going to stem the fact that some of these kids, if they're not going to college, don't have no training. We need to bring some vocational training back in there to start at a very early age, to give them another option, to see that, listen, you can do plumbing, you can do carpentry, you can become an electrician, you can do all of these things, because some of them are never going to go to college, but they can use their hands. And our young black kids are not stupid. They're very, very intelligent. It's just that they're misguided. And so that's my take on it. It's not just, no matter how much police you put out there, if you're not stopping what's causing these people, these young kids, to react in the way they do. Where I just was in the car a couple weeks ago, and somebody shoots somebody over maybe $1 and kill him. I mean, what is life worth? $1?
Nowadays, it's not taken for, people's life are taken, it's nothing. And that's the sad part about it. Senseless death, like you mentioned, and people understanding that, hey, the next thing for me to do is just eliminate you. And I don't understand, when did we get to that stage where, you can't fight correctly or just verbalize or have conversation, but the first thing to do, if it's not a gun, it's a knife to stab somebody to death. So it is sad.
I have to interject, Dr. Brian, and just say, just walk away.
Yes, I agree with you.
That's just, don't worry, Omar.
No, but some of them look at that,
I'm just making, Dr. Omar.
They look at that as like they're a coward. They feel like, they back down. But you gotta see,
again,
I'm live tomorrow than die today.
I'm making fun of Dr. Bryant because
he's making fun of me, but it's the truth. Because the thing is, you have nothing to prove. At the end of the day, you have nothing to prove.
That's why I say to people all the time, and I know that's not your expertise area, Omar, but that's why I believe in the Second Amendment. I believe in the Second Amendment. I believe that the stringent rules about guns are dumb, because the people who are getting killed, right? The people are getting killed in a lot of these cases that we have shows, and we talk about the the 32-year-old or the 70-year-old or the woman who gets knocked over in the elevator or the 10 victims in Buffalo, or the fact that you can't have guns outside of a school as a police officer to protect our kids. When you see it, it's problematic. When you think about it.
So everybody should be walking around with a gun. That's what you're saying.
I don't care if a gang member kills another gang member. I personally don't care.
But guess what? There's innocent people.
And that's my problem.
Are actually doing that. There's innocent people walking on the street. One gang has a gun, another
that
gun
is
has
my
a gun.
argument.
And guess
right?
what? You become the victim.
And that's
So
my
they're both
argument.
carrying guns.
My
But innocent
argument is,
bystanders are the ones walking by, going to work, going to the supermarket.
but if
They're
that
the one who get murdered. I'm sure. If that bystander had a gun,
Wait,
they
wait.
could just take
I
it out
am
and shoot
certain-
somebody else, right?
I'm certain that if that 32-year-old young man coming from that wedding had a gun, I'd pop a cap in that boy's ass. He would live to talk about it right now. That's one of my issues. The victims are generally, the people who are doing the crime are those with illegal weapons. And if you were allowed to have...
Wait. There's places in Florida, there's places down south, there's places in Texas, they have legal, and then they're killing innocent individual. If you drive up my driveway, I'm shooting and killing you. If you turn around, I'm shooting and killing you. You know, if I'm driving by and you cut me off, I'm shooting and killing you. So please don't use that as an excuse to say, oh, if I had a legal gun and this person had a legal gun and I got on their nerve and they cut me off, I'm just going to shoot them. That's exactly what you're saying. So if you come to my block, if you come up and knock on my door and I don't know who you are, I have a legal right in shooting you. That's what you're saying.
Omar, I'm going to get back to you because this debate is going to get very strong.
No, we have to hear this out because the community is suffering, and people wants to solve the problem, and we need to talk it out to solve the problem because our community is suffering really bad. People are putting their head in the sand.
It's a full court press on every aspect. Like you said, what are the conduits that are poisoning this community or this river? What are the conduits? Lack of education, lack of opportunity. However, at the same time, I do promote people need to have their Second Amendment rights. People need to defend themselves, but there's discretion. The whole issue, the court system has a role to play. The business community there's a holistic approach to this whole thing. Some people are just incorrigible. You have incorrigible individuals who have to go to prison. To go a step further, need to be executed. You know what I'm saying? So this is a whole, people need to understand that there are consequences for your actions. You got an 18, 19-year-old kid who had the temerity to kill someone because someone asked him something. Who made him judge, jury, and executor of that 32-year-old?
And it wasn't a gun. It was a knife.
No, what I'm saying is, who made him judge, jury, executor of that? The young woman up in Washington Heights walking her dog with a neighbor. Guy shoots and kills both people and the dog. So it comes to people. We get tired of hearing this over and over and over and over and over. Pushing people in front of the train on the subways. What do? Do we take it? Do we take law and order in our own hands? No. But at the same time, we need to start protecting ourselves because the judicial system is there. But you know what? Sometimes they're carefree, too carefree. The bail issue. Some people, and you have to call it as we see it. Some people deserve to be put in jail. Period, exclamation. That is it. Some people deserve to be executed too. When you have the temerity to take someone's life for no basis at all, no reason for sport whatever it is. The question is, should they get a second chance in life? Should they get another opportunity? Maybe, maybe not. There's so many different factors in judging that. So I think you need a holistic approach.
So go back to Warren's comment, right? And then
What's up, brother Warren?
Go ahead. Go ahead. There are responsibilities for carrying a gun. So let me explain to Dr. Bryant, who's might be unaware of this responsibility.
Here we go.
You have to go through training. You have to go through classes. It doesn't mean it doesn't mean that you might not be irrational, right? And do something stupid.
We have a lot of people.
Wait, hold on. I didn't finish the thought. I didn't finish the thought yet. The reality of this situation is that the data shows that in New York City, over 90% of gun violence happen from people with illegal guns. 90% plus are illegal guns. So since we can't get rid of illegal guns, then you have to do the opposite, which is to allow people easier access with responsibility for carrying the gun. Now, I know people are getting their gun license. They have to be in the range. They have to show that they have no criminal background. They have to show that they have to take a psychological test, right? They have to show that they have the responsibility. They have to show the case that they put the gun in. They have to lock it up separately. Gun and this can't be together. The responsibility for owning and carrying a gun. And if you're a carrier of a gun, it has to be hidden. You can't show it. So there are, an illegal gun, there are no responsibilities. You walk with it, you shoot wherever you want, you shoot whomever you want. That's why I believe that guns should be legal. And then you can say whatever you want to say.
Look what Warren put. When you pull your gun, you need to understand that is the final solution. So remind you, you have somebody who have a legal gun, you have somebody who have an illegal gun, somebody's going to get shot. And then if there's somebody walking or in the vicinity, somebody's going to get hurt.
Let me ask you a question.
Again,
What's the
when you have a legal gun, you have to have training.
Roderick, it's the same. So what's the difference when you have a person who is a black belt, 3rd or 4th degree, maybe karate, taekwondo? You know, when would they be allowed to use their talents or their skills? Because if you're a black belt 4th or 5th degree, that you could consider to be a deadly weapon.
A weapon.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Again, remember, it's
too.
That comes with a certain amount of discipline, though. You can't get to that stage or level without discipline. Okay, you got to go through that training over years in order to make that grade. So you have a certain sense of composure. You have a certain sense of control. So when you reach in a situation, you can make a split decision as to what you're going to do, but that's not if the other person has a gun. That's a different situation. You have to take split-second decision in that case to know that this person looks like they're armed. You got to take evasive action. But I don't agree, and I'm saying this, with everybody having gun, because that's going to be a madhouse.
Exactly. I agree. It's going to be if we thought this was the Wild Wild West, it's going to get even worse. Period. Because you have people who are irrational, who are high-tempered. They could be licensed. They could be legal. But guess what? Self-control is another thing. Sometimes you have people who do have their legal gun license, but they want to brand it. I'll never forget. They want to brand it and tell you they're going to stick it up somewhere. And guess what? That's not the reason why. Hey, somebody cut me off, so I'm gonna pull out my gun and show them that. So you have all different. And let's go back to mental health. You can have somebody who have a legal gun and have mental health, and that happen all the time. So anyway,
wait, hold on. Donald, can you let me hear if they can hear you? Go ahead, Donald, speak.
Yeah, greetings to the panel. Is everybody okay?
Yes, we're fine.
Okay, good, because I can't hear you too well, you know.
Um,
I was listening for a minute to the conversation pertaining to the guns, and I don't really think the society should have this much guns, because if you do a survey of 100 people, I guarantee you're not gonna find 10 people say to you, "Listen, I'm alive today because I have a gun." So we know that too many guns is just in the society. That's just kind of ludicrous. You know what I mean?
We're listening. See, my argument isn't that I believe that society should have guns. That's not my argument, right? I've been to countries around the world. As a matter of fact, last year around this time, I was in Dubai. And in Dubai, there is no violence and nobody has guns, right? So I don't want to introduce gun into Dubai. I would like a gun-free society. That's what I want.
Right.
But we don't live in this in America. The Second Amendment allows people to, one, produce guns, have guns, sell guns. Right?
Well, it is not.
So wait, Donald, hold on a second. So my argument isn't that we should allow everyone to have guns. My argument is that if and since we cannot control illegal guns in the United States,
so just bring on the legal ones, right?
Then bring on the legal ones
to combat the same thing
with training and responsibility. I didn't say willy-nilly. I don't want my 6-year-old, my 10-year-old, or my 11-year-old to have a gun. I want legal responsibility to have a gun.
Yeah, but what happened though? I mean, the lawmakers need to take a better look at that, because it's not working. We got way too many guns in the street, and that's like across America. Look at Chicago, and now Florida have this open carry on thing, and all of that is not gonna help this situation. More guns. I don't really, just like I mentioned, Dubai have less guns, or probably no gun at all, and they have a more crime-free society in terms of gun violence. So I'm saying, if the lawmakers willing, which we knew they're not going to do that, because it's benefit to them, because the IRS got them wrapped up. So no, that's a talking point that nobody, just like the immigration situation, no politician wanted to address it, because it's benefited for them. You know what I mean? So I'm saying I would love to see less gun on the street, and I believe we would have a better society, because I did a poll with some people a few years back, and rightfully, we're saying that if, for instance, we have less gun, it would be a more better society. And when we start to ask some people, most of the gun owners who we spoke cannot tell us honestly that they are alive because they own a gun or two. And don't get me wrong, I own guns, but I'm just saying, you're gonna have people who are not responsible, and nowadays you're talking about mental illness. Once you do something cruel, it's mental illness. That is kind of getting out of control right now, man.
No, Jennifer, I don't want a wild, wild west. I want safety. Right? I hear you, Donald, also.
Thank you for your comment, Donald. We appreciate that.
Omar, you can hear him.
Yes, I can hear you. I'm listening.
Okay, loud and clear. What is your response to that, Omar? I know it's not politics, but
No. Well, I'm a member of the community, so when I hear gun violence happening, it should concern me because you have to go out every day, and there's no guarantee you're coming home back. So you're just at the mercy of these thugs and these crazy folks out there. So, one has to be careful. But I don't necessarily believe that everybody should be armed. Neither do I believe in arming the community, because let me tell you, things are going to get a little bit worse in terms of maybe unemployment, in terms of more people on drugs, more people homeless, more people hungry. And, if you have these people armed, they're going to say, oh, well, listen, I'm not going to starve. Let me rob somebody or shoot somebody. So I don't believe that we should be arming much more people in the society. I'm in favor of finding ways to take away those guns from the ghost guns and the other guns that are illegal in the community. I just think we need to find ways of doing that. And, people might not like me, but I'll say this. Sometimes you have to give up some rights to get this damn thing done. Okay? You're going to have to tread on some toes and make some people upset. But if you don't, they are going to force you to take actions, which if you had taken some actions before, would be less draconian and less violent, because that's what these people are just going to push the envelope as much as they can, and the society is going to face some hard choice down the line if we don't take some steps now to get rid of those guns. I don't, sometimes you have to do some stuff, and I don't want to talk on the show on it, but I once talked to a politician, and I was telling him, about guns actually, and he says, "Omar, you're too radical." I say, you know what? They're gonna force you to take action that you think is radical right now, and so said, so done. They end up doing it. This is a country I was talking about, okay? Because they did not believe that they ought to take some heavy steps at that particular time. Now they're trying to do it, but I feel the horse is bolted the barn, and it's going to be tough pulling that barn back, the horse back in. Okay, and by now,
it's out of control.
Out of control.
Yep. If they had did it before or taken a stand before, it would have been less.
Correct.
But I have a burning question.
Wait, hold on, Doc. Go
ahead. And it has nothing to do with guns.
No, hold on. Just want to remind our viewers that you're watching the Village Radio Talk Show. We're on air with Omar Belcher, our political strategist. We just the conversation just morphed into, which is great, and this is what the show is about with the Villages, when we talk about anything that's on your mind. Glad to have Omar Belcher, a political strategist, here with us today. On the phone, we have Donald. I have a question. But before you ask a question, because you say it doesn't have to do with gun violence, I want to ask Omar, Donald, and Warren, who's writing in, and Dr. Butterfly. So I want to ask all three of you the same questions, right? Donald and Warren own a gun. I don't own a gun.
And that's why you're always talking about it.
Wait, hold on. I would own a gun, by the way. I would tell you right up front that I would own a gun, regardless. If I was able to own a gun, not if I was able to, because I am able to. Right? I just haven't gone through the process of owning a gun. But that's not my question.
Okay.
My question to Donald, and I want to hear your response, both Dr. Butterfly and Omar, to this their comment. Why do you own a gun if you're saying we shouldn't have a gun? So I'll start with you, Omar, and then Warren, you can type your answer in, and then we could pull it up on screen. So Donald, let's start. I'm sorry, I meant Donald. Let's start with you. Why do you own a gun if you are anti-gun?
No,
But
I'm not really. I wouldn't classify myself as anti-gun because I consider myself a responsible gun owner, to which 90% of the time I don't even walk around with that stuff. You see what I'm saying? But here's the thing: my grandfather was in the British military, and so growing up as a young kid back home, I've always seen him with a lot of guns, and I've always said, I can't wait to grow up to really get some of these guns if he's no longer around. Not really thinking that his son, which is my uncles, they probably have the same mindset. So I've always have a love for guns, but the way a lot of people view guns today, I think them and I are not on the same page. Because I can do without it. I don't necessarily have to have it. You know what I'm saying? I just have it because I'm living in a state where it's easy. Matter of fact, if I was living in New York, because I've got a lot of friends in New York, and they don't own no guns, and they don't even care about owning a gun. I just did it because in our state, the opportunity is there for you to just go someplace and just buy it. And if you're responsible, you are good to go. So that's the reason why I really have it. But it's not like I must have it. You see what I'm saying? So that would be my answer.
all right, Warren. I mean, I didn't see Warren. I didn't see Warren. I don't know if he's still on. Omar. Omar, your comment to that.
Well, I'm just simply saying I'm not in favor of the gun. I think, if you have a gun, it puts you at risk to do something that you would not normally do. Like, for example, if somebody approach in the wrong way and I have a gun, instead of walking away, I might just cap them.
Yeah.
You understand? So if I don't have a gun, it's my duty to walk away to avoid situation. But it can get into your head when you have a gun, because it becomes macho, where you might think that, and I know because I'm going to tell you something. When I was probably 9, 10, and 11, there was guns around me. I was able to hold multiple guns when I was small. And it had nothing to do with my father who was in the army. These were people around, okay? Most of those guns came off when the American ships dock. They smuggle guns to locals and sell them. Okay, this is in Jamaica. And I'm telling you, lots of people around me had guns. I didn't find any attachment or love for it. And I think that, there's no need for it. Let the cops have it and have them restricted in some way from brutalizing and misusing their weapons. But the majority of the community, I think, should not own a gun. And those who have that are not legal, it should be taken away. And I believe listen, if you use the gun, you should be looking at 30 years. And if you commit a debt with it, you should be doing life. I'm just serious. You got to have some deterrent power with some of these people.
I agree with that.
Right now, they're walking out, they use and they walk out 3 years and that person dies. Okay, that person's liable to be the only breadwinner. So you've now left the grandmother destitute, all the children destitute, the wife or the girlfriend or the baby mother, she don't have a source of income that she was relying on. So you have to take those factors in, and then you have the do-goodies. I get mad. You have the do-goodies who only concern is for the perpetrator of the crime and not worried about the victim. And when you shoot somebody, they are victims apart from that person. Okay? And so I think strict method should be used against people like that. And that's my take. Sorry.
All right, not a problem.
I don't
agree.
like guns. They cause too much damage. Fix the mindset of the people, then the guns won't matter.
See,
absolutely.
I have a problem with that statement.
Oh Lord, I want to ask my question.
Yeah, you are. I'm getting off the subject in 30 seconds. I have a problem with the statement that you're making, and that's. I was having a conversation today with a friend of mine who the public advocate. We were talking about the public advocate, right? Jumaane Williams, and the conversation was about the belief in school safety and the need for more training for people with to address people with mental health and get rid of school safety agents, right? Because, and I say the problem isn't the mindset. The problem is the action, right? After the 32-year-old guy gets killed, the person who is 19 or 18 or however age that person was, because I didn't see the picture of the person, right? That got to that point. That 32, the mental health doesn't matter because the 32-year-old is dead. And he can no longer defend himself because he was not allowed to defend himself. So the mental health.
Can I just interject just a minute? Are you saying that we should be getting rid of the school safety officers?
Well, somebody said Jumaane is for decreasing significantly school safety agents.
Let me tell you something. I'm gonna, because I have worked in the school system. I'm telling you, some of these irate parents who come to
and kids
damn well need a school safety officer there.
Yes.
And so my point, the point that I'm making is that regardless of the person's mental health, your safety has to come first. Because we're not going to get rid of mental health. We're not going to get rid of violence in our community. We're just not. The United States does not allow for violence to be gotten rid of. It doesn't allow it. It's not like other countries where it's immediately worked on. And every country has police. So the question is,
so we don't need more police. If every country have police, we don't need more police.
That's not my point. My point isn't about the police. My point is, how do you affect violence that is going to be perpetrated on to you? Because you can't walk away from a madman. You can't walk away from an.
So you're saying just carry a gun and take care of it.
See, the difference is what you're still not getting is that when you own a gun, you have a certain amount of responsibility.
Okay, Roderick, I said this already. I mentioned to you, there's some states that people own guns. They're supposed to have responsibility. They blame it on the law.
Yes, but remember what I said to you?
No.
I said to you the majority of gun violence that happen in the United States, 90% of
some of them are legal guns.
90% of the violence, gun violence, are things that happened because of those people who have illegal guns. So there are 10 to 15% of legal gun owners who cause deaths.
Right.
But the violence that happens, 85 to 90% of the violence that happen from people with illegal weapons.
Okay.
There's
I-
a difference.
All right. So
But we got to
Omar,
move on.
Yes.
Donald, I want to thank you.
Okay.
yes, thank you for joining us, Donald. Omar, my question for you
Yes, go ahead.
is,
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Donald. Go ahead.
All right. You're welcome. Have a good one.
You too.
my
Go ahead,
question
Dr. Grant,
for
your
you
question.
is, there has been a real big focus on the president's age. Is that a way to try to bring in another Democrat
Good question.
into the
Good question.
position? Because even some own Democrat are saying, well, we don't believe in his age. He's too old. He's too this, he's too that. So what is your take on that?
First of all, I don't think the age matters so much
Mm-hmm.
because number one, I think he's still lucid. I think that he's still capable, and
Mm-hmm.
you know, the
I'm
problem
sorry.
is
Who do you think is still losing? I didn't hear you.
no lucid, which means they
Oh, lucid. Okay.
right. So I think that he's functioning well.
Mm-hmm.
Age should not matter. But you know what with Democrats? They're a bunch of weak knees, and I can't say what I want to say on TV.
No, you can say it, just don't
No,
use any foul language.
It's the P word, so I won't say no more.
Oh, that word. Oh, that word.
Okay. Because they
Or you can say punks. You can say
people
punks.
people are creating something to talk about. They got to find something to talk about. They got nothing else to get him on, so they're going to use age as a way of doing it. We ain't got, listen, from 4 years ago, Democrats did not have anybody that could be Trump but Biden, and they ain't got nobody right now.
Wait.
No, that can beat Trump. Biden was the only person that
Well,
could beat.
I don't know. I think
telling
if
you.
they, oh, okay.
I'm telling you, because I'm giving you my opinion. And right now, the same apply.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, none of these fools who are tinkling on the periphery of things cannot beat Biden out there. They're just going to waste some money, and then Trump is going to beat all of them lot unless he's in jail. And the way these mega people are going, they're going to vote for him whether he's in jail or not. Okay, so as far as I'm concerned,
That's true.
the age doesn't matter. I still think the man has accomplished so much, but Democrats, they just can't live with a good thing.
Yeah.
You know, they got to do some, and they make the Republicans only have to come on false news. I don't call it Fox News, the false news, to say something. When they grab it, you understand? They grab it and they start running with it.
Mm-hmm.
And then, suddenly nobody saw that he had a hole in his trousers or his pants. And false news go with it. And the next day, on all of the Democratic programs, they're talking about it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay? Instead of concentrating on the positiveness and the accomplishment of Biden, okay, and what Democrats have done over the last 3 years.
But they're always looking for ways to say that somebody else is better or they can do better. So they look at the negative instead of the positive. Where Republican, even though, it could be anything, like you said, he could be in jail, but they're going to stick with him 100%. So that's the difference with the party.
Yes, most definitely. And we have some folks here, especially, I'll tell you something, in our field of consulting, it is not nice for people to be out of work. And like without competition with Biden, a whole lot of us are out of work. They want competition so they can make a whole lot of money. With a one-man Biden, a lot of people are not going to be making money. So they want that competition. Okay? So they're going to feed the environment and the political establishment with the fact that let's nitpick this and nitpick that, and maybe somebody will jump in there, and then another person and another person. Even if they're gonna lose, they're gonna make some money, and that's what they're in the game for. So, I don't think that matters, and I think Democrats should ride this horse. This horse has been good, hasn't lost the race. So why you want to jump off it? Look, the racehorse that got beaten, even those losers are jumping back onto him. And here we have winners on a winning horse, and they're jumping off on maybe to go on a mule or some giraffe or something, maybe even a camel, to run a race. They don't have anybody. So why are you going to waste time and buy into what the Republicans are saying and these talking heads? I don't pay much attention to it because, to me, it's folly, and they just want to have something to talk about and to bring Biden down. When you have somebody up, you got to bring them down. That's what they're about doing.
So I have another question. Wait, Roger, one more question. So the whole issue with his son that was right now, how much do you think that will affect him?
It's not going to affect him. Listen to me. His son is just like any other person that did something wrong, okay? And if he wasn't a Biden, they would not be troubling him.
Of course.
Okay? Of course. And so they're going to use anything. Let me just say, what his son done is nothing compared to what Trump's son and his son-in-laws and the family members done.
Of course.
I could get a pattern in China. She must be about 73 pattern as soon as her father was elected. You think China did it for nothing? Okay? And look how much money they're making. They're not making. They made, and it's continued to make, off of the fact that he became president. That, if you want to investigate, you should investigate that. What Biden done with his little gun charge and not paying his tax. Trump has not paid his tax because you know what?
Yes, I don't understand. One is not charged and one is charged.
Because what Trump did was legal. What did I want to go to a different question. Unless you finish. Are you finished? Dr. Bart?
I'm done.
I want to go to a different question. What's up with the Democrats? Because John and I wish John was on right now, but I know he has some technical. He's having some technical difficulties. What is going on with the Democrats? Why can't we support? Why all of a sudden Bob Menendez resigned? Andrew Cuomo, I need you to resign. Al Franken, I need you to resign. Joe Schmo, I need you to resign. You're guilty before proven innocent.
I think Cuomo would have gave Donald Trump a run for his money.
Right? What's up with the Democrats? You are a political genius because you're going to run my campaign when I run.
Yeah, okay, no problem, sir.
Right? No. Because I'm debating running for office. So I'm telling you up front.
Let me answer you.
What's up with the Democrats? Why they always want their political leadership to quit?
Well,
what's going on?
They are cut from a different cloth than the Republicans.
They're losers.
Republicans, listen, Republicans are going to go down with you, okay?
Yes.
They don't care. Number one, Republicans have no shame. You see?
Hey. We have shame.
He said Republican have no shame. Are you a Republican? Is that what you're saying? You have shame?
No. Listen. So they're not going to throw somebody out.
Look at George
because Democrats says something about the person.
Right.
The opposite is true, where Republicans will say, oh, look at what they did. They're ready tomorrow morning to throw you out. okay, they are made differently, and I love my Democrats, but at times I think they're weak knees. I just think that they need to have some backbones and go down. Sometimes you have to go down with the person.
And that's my argument.
Don't just look at Franklin or Minnesota, I think it was. He shouldn't have resigned, but they forced him into resigning.
And see, Omar, that's we have about like 1 minute left, but
yeah.
The truth of the matter is, right? The truth of the matter is, Democrats, although Republicans have no shame, they have commitment and they have loyalty.
No, I was going to get to
Democrats
that. They have stickability, which means that they are going to stick with their person, no matter what, and they don't care what you say.
Mm-hmm.
Democrats, even before they say anything, Democrat is looking over their shoulder. Republicans don't do that. We are taught, and I include myself for the sake of speaking, but I'm not like them. I'm like Republicans. Okay? You just can't do that to your own folks when the other side is not doing it. Okay? You're injuring yourself and talk about stupidity about you have you're not like them. Yeah, that's why they stick with their members until death. The Democrats put some backbones in the body and stick to as well.
And I think that's a very strong argument. Omar, I want to thank you for
Wait, how can people reach Omar? Omar, how can people reach you?
718-490-8612. All right, and it's omarboucher5@gmail.com.
I have them reach out, and let me just remind everyone, Omar is a political genius. He has run, I would say, more than, as far as I can tell, more than 20 campaigns. Elected Congresswoman, helped to elect Congresswoman Yvette Clarke, our first a Jamaican-born Assembly member, Nick Perry, worked on his successor, helping her to win as well. Our Haitian-born immigrant, Mercedes Narcisse, also a former guest on the show, and numerous others, right? And so if you're thinking about running for office, he is a person that you can reach out to and ask for help. So I want to thank him for joining us today on The Village to elucidate some of the concerns that we have and questions about the elections. So Omar, I want to thank you so much for joining us on The Village Radio Talk Show. Looking forward to doing more.
Keep up the good work.
Thank you. I didn't even get a chance to talk to you about the Jamaican diaspora and what's going on with that, but that's going to be
another
for
time.
Next time, and we'll talk about what's happening with right when we get a chance. Dr. Bryant, do you have any comments or before we close?
I do. So today is, I just want to give a shout out to the teachers. It's Happy World Teachers Day. So happy World Teachers Day. Without you, many others wouldn't be around. So thank you for pouring into our young folks all around the world. Happy World Teachers Day. Be safe, everyone.
All right. And thank you. I also want to make sure that I remind everyone today is my wife's anniversary. It is our 16th year of marriage today.
Your wife?
Actually, it is physically today. Yes, my wife's anniversary. Yes.
My good friend, Senator John Sampson. Always a community-minded person.
Thank you, everyone.
So thank you, everyone.
All right, take care.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us on the Village Radio Talk Show. My name is Roderick Daly. I'm your host. I'm joined by our co-hostess, Dr. Bryant, and our guest today, Omar Boucher, and our co-host, John Sampson. Where we're dedicated to empowering the community to live a safe and healthy life through education. Chop that up. Reminding each one of us that to realize our dreams at any age, at any point, starting from today, where success is not just spoken, it is done. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Click on the subscribe button. We'd love to have you join us. And I did forget one thing. Thank you for everyone who came out to our domino tournament this weekend. Looking forward to hear more from you, and also call on the adult social daycare. God bless. Have a great evening.
Happy anniversary. Bye.
Thank you. 16 years. 16 years. I'm married. 16 years.
God bless.
No. What does everybody say that?